Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Upgrade to the home of your dreams with Manny and Courtney from CMK Construction. CMK Construction is Tampa's award-winning kitchen and bath leader for over 20 years. Right now, save $3,000 on a new kitchen and $2,000 on a new bathroom. And take advantage of our no money down and no interest financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A. This is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
Hey, on everybody. I got wires hanging everywhere. We have so much stuff going on right now. We've been broadcasting our red zone between 6:30 and 7 with the Bucs game. We got the Bucs. It looks like the Texans just kicked a field goal, so they just took a 10-7 lead over the Bucs. Not a good thing, although I do have Fairbanks on my fantasy football team, so there is that. But yeah, first quarter, it is so far a shootout. It looks like there's just over 2 minutes left in the first quarter. And the Texans have just taken a 10-7 lead over the Bucs. So that's no good. But, you know, the Bucs, both teams, literally, there's not been a lot of defense as of this point. Texans went right down the field. Nico Collins had a heck of a catch to put Houston up 7-0. The Bucs went right back, and Baker Mayfield with a 20-yard touchdown pass to tie it up at 7. And, again, Houston just went right down the field again. Matter of fact, they had it first and goal, but after a penalty, bumped him back a little bit, took him out of the easy touchdown range, and they ended up Bucs defense picked it up a little bit and forced the field goal. So there we have it, 10-7. I'm looking at the game over here on our broadcast channel. You are here to talk tropics, and this is a Bucs watch party in addition to everything else we got going on. So go ahead and let me see your comments on here as well. We got the Bucs game going on. We've got what will likely be Gabrielle in the tropics. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Caribbean. You know, for the folks who've been saying, boy, it feels like it's a quiet year, tropical-wise, it has been, well, we haven't had anything named in the tropical Atlantic since the end of August, and it has been like almost 80 years since we have had a stretch like this, as quiet as it's been. 1939 was the last time that we've had this long of a stretch from the end of August to the middle of September without any tropical development. So how you guys doing out there? So if you're watching on the spot, which, by the way, if you were watching earlier, the Bolts preseason game, which was a mid-afternoon game. Now, it's the prospects that are playing. It isn't actually the Bolts players, but they were playing earlier, which was right here if you're watching on the spot. But I'll say it again, especially on days like today, if you're watching on TV, you can follow along on Facebook or on Instagram. Check out the comments and let us know how things are going. So we've got Susan, we've got checking in from Hudson, April, Inverness, RA. The Adirondacks are in the house with Tyler. How you doing, Tyler? Lakewood Ranch with Bailey. Largo's in with Pat. We've got St. Pete in the house with, is it Marla or Maria? It looks like it's Maria. And let me check. Now I want to know. Yep, that's it. And the, yeah, Cassie, it's the Houston Texans. Bridget, how you doing? Yeah, I've got the hoodie going on today, supporting the Bucs colors the best that we can. We've got Chicago's in the house with Linda. So, yeah, I mean, so I've literally bought pretty much every color I can think of. We have all of these on our Rule Number 7 merch site. And, boy, big hit. Looks like a forearm shimmy. A pretty solid hit from the Texans over there. I don't see if they threw a flag there or not. But anyway, let's go ahead and do some weather. And at the same time, we will be watching the game, giving you updates as well. And you guys can give me updates at the same time if you want. But here we go. So there's a look at radar right now. A couple of showers, southern Polk County, northern Hardy County, okay? We are going to be talking long-range tropics. Jennifer in Montreal is in here, vacationing in Orlando Thursday. Jennifer, I think you picked a good week. I think you picked a good week to come weather-wise, although there might be some inland showers. Now, I did not say nothing for September, Carolyn, but I will tell you that we're going out at least 10 days from now where we will likely have Gabrielle, but that is not going to pose a threat to the U.S. So, Cindy in Safety Harbor, how you doing? So, yeah, the Caribbean, which is our biggest concern, obviously, remains inactive right on through the next 5 to 7 days. So, anyway, there's a look at live radar right now. Interesting situation temperature-wise because, so in the mornings we were in the middle 60s, right? But the afternoons we're still in the lower 90s. Cheryl in Ruskin, how are you? Jill, it's happy birthday to Faith Hughes, so happy birthday to you. Lisbon, Wisconsin here. Nice to see you, little old place in Sebring. So we've got folks from all over the place. Michelle in Madeira, Brenda in Valrico, Alyssa in Chicago. Disney cruise to the Bahamas on Monday. Should you be worried? We'll talk about that in just a second. So there's Futurecast. Tomorrow we still got that west-southwest, the moisture building, pushing into the east. So I think the best chance of rain will continue over on the east side of our viewing area and of the state later tomorrow and again on Wednesday. Frontal boundary just kind of lingering south of the front will be the best rain chances, and that is going to be anywhere south of I-4. But you're right, Karen, it is Crystal River. Karen's in the house this morning. Amazing. It has absolutely been amazing. Jody in Palm Harbor, good to see you. Jessica in Tampa, good to see you as well. Here's a look at your forecast lows for tomorrow morning. Most of Pinellas County in the low to mid 70s, lower 70s in Hillsborough County. But once you go to Pasco County northward, we're going to still be upper 60s to low 70s. Tina in Austin, Texas is in the house as well. Pat in Osprey, good to see you. Odessa, Denise in Odessa, as always, nice to see you. So there's a look at your forecast lows for tomorrow. Lower 70s inland, upper 60s along the coast. With rain chances, we're going to go maybe 20-30% coverage right on through the rest of this work week. Forecast highs. Remember, actually, this has not been updated. The average high is now down to 90 degrees. So it has actually gone down. How about that? So we're finally turning the corner. So there's a look at the tropics, and that is more than likely going to be Gabrielle. All right? And we're going to talk a lot about potential where Gabrielle is going. Are there going to be any impacts for either the islands of the Caribbean or Bermuda or even worst case scenario, the U.S.? We're going to look at all the ensembles. We're going to look at the operational runs, and we are going to look as well as what's potentially developing in the Caribbean. That all continues in night, and of course, your conversation. So if you're watching on TV, log in on your phone, on Facebook, log in on the computer. You can continue because the things that we say when they're not on broadcast are very different. You know, we could be a little saucy, a little spicy, and you're not seeing that on TV. But what you are seeing is a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back in 90 seconds. Okay, so we are in our break right now. Yes, Mary Ellen, it is break time. So you had asked about the Bahamas. I think you're actually okay in the Bahamas. I will show you that in just a second. But, yeah, Dennis, I don't disagree. The stuff that's coming in off of Africa is, I I tried my best, Mary. I tried. So the stuff off of Africa, historically, this late now in the season, usually are just not a big threat to the U.S., at least to Florida. I mean, look, there always can be, but I'm going to show some numbers in a second. And actually, I'm going to continue it even into November. That just kind of shows, I believe we're at the end of the first quarter now. Are we at the, let me see this. I think we are end of the first quarter on the football game. And let me check. Yes, we're at the end of the first quarter, or just about, it looks like. So what's said in the chat stays in the chat. Well, that isn't necessarily the case, Denise. In a perfect world, it would be, but unfortunately, it says that you're frozen. Let me see if I'm frozen. Nope, I'm not frozen. I just had to hit refresh. So, nope. Sometimes you got to hit refresh on Facebook for it to work. All right, we are back in 3, 2. How you doing, everybody? It says we are buffering on the computer. I don't see it. Doesn't look like we are. I'm showing a solid stream on here, so that might be a Facebook thing. Sometimes you got to hit refresh. Because I was frozen on my computer screen, hit refresh, and it looks like it all worked out just fine now. So, but yeah, sometimes you got to leave and come back. Deborah says it's pouring where you are. Well, let's go back and talk tropics a little bit. All right, we got lots to talk about in the tropics, all right? Still says I'm going in and out. So that might be why you want to watch on TV. Now, Alicia says perfect stream. So, yeah, you know, you just don't know. You just don't know sometimes, right? All right, let's go ahead and look at what's going on in the tropics. So first of all, this is going to be Gabrielle more than likely, all right? But I want to show you some of the stuff coming from the NHC. We were frozen. Yeah, not on TV. We're not frozen on TV, but we were frozen on Facebook because I'm looking at the stream on TV and the TV looks just fine. So it definitely was a Facebook thing. All right, so here we go. Let's see if we have the 8 o'clock advisory out yet. Let's hit refresh. And 60 to 90%. So it is up slightly. It was 50 to 90. Now it is 60 and 90. And as you see right here, broad area of low pressure located about midway between the Windward Islands and the coast of West Africa. The Bucs. So it is, yeah, the start of the second quarter, and it's still 10-7 Texans. A tropical depression and tropical storm likely to form by the middle to latter portion of this week while the system moves west to northwest over the central tropical Atlantic. All right, so let's look at a couple things. Let's go ahead and start right off the bat with the spaghetti models. All right, I'm going to just go ahead and call up the spaghetti models for this system right here. And there they are. So there are the spaghetti models, and they obviously look good. Well to the northeast of the Caribbean, even the farthest west track, eventually going to feel a front and zoop, go right on up toward the northeast. That is the official track. Now, when we look at the month of September, that's November. Let's look at September. There it is. So when we look at September, we would expect this track. It's a very, very common track. It is most active, and yes, we still get stuff coming off of Africa, okay? And when it does, the majority of the time over the last 100 years, that's what this map shows, over 70 named storms have been in that area of red, which is all offshore, all right? 50 to 69's in the orange, still mostly offshore, but not completely. Central Florida, up towards Savannah, and the Delmarva, still with the potential development, right? And then green is less. And then you've got this area in the northern Gulf. And that, I would argue, is more than likely a late September because look at October. This is why I continue to say it is going to be a active late season. I truly believe this is going to be an active late season, meaning October and even November. With the La Nina developing, with warm water temperatures, it just seems like something that's bound to happen. Okay? You would look at the month of November. It still shows development, and it's not common, but when it develops, it's in that same spot. Now, in November, because you get fronts that dig even deeper, you're going to have a track that usually goes this way. Because remember, guys, wherever that frontal boundary is, south of that front is where this storm is going to go, whatever it is, whatever develops. So in November, because cold fronts travel farther south, you're going to get a track more like this. Whereas in October, it's a little less likely that cold fronts travel that far south, so you would likely get a track more like this, okay? Like we had with Helene and Milton. So the bottom line is I truly, truly believe this season is going to be back-weighted, and I think we are going to see development in the month of October and November. I truly do. Another reason is because we are in a La Nina, which means there is weaker vertical wind shear in the Caribbean, and you get more development, which is what we are having, or that's what we anticipate. So this will be updated tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see if they look at a better chance or a lesser chance of development in the Caribbean. But, you know, you get this area out here. It's very common. Wait a minute. Is this the new one? No. Or is this? No. Maybe it is, actually. I can't remember. Anyway, I don't know what it is. Usually updates on Tuesdays. But anyway, you got this going out here, and then you got that even to the last bit of September, but then you still have these areas right here. That is the biggest thing. Now, let's go ahead and look at some of those ensembles. Start with the Euro, okay? Here's the Euro ensemble with over the next 15 days, okay? So the Euro ensemble shows, Gabrielle, all members of the ensemble bring this like that. And the majority keep it east of Bermuda. Now, this is the AI. This is the Euro AI. You do see a little something going on out here. But the Euro AI has not been all that bullish on that. Well, here is the Euro. Same setup. All of it stays offshore. A few members keep this system weaker, and if it's weaker, it'll go farther to the west. A stronger system will inevitably curve away from the U.S. and away from Bermuda. But the Euro also shows the same thing. General low pressure in this area of Central America. If you get it over here, it develops in the Pacific and goes this way. If you get it over here, it potentially could go more toward the north or northwest toward the Bay of Campeche. So the Euro does show a few members developing from the Central America gyre. And the Bucs are continuing to move down the field now on the 18-yard line of the Texans. So neither defense right now, neither defense has shown any ability to stop the other offense as of this point. All right, and then lastly, we have got the GFS, all right? And the GFS, while it does continue to show development with Gabrielle, it does bring it a little closer. Matter of fact, some so close at going to Florida, but those are the minority of those members. It's like 1 or 2 out of 50. The overwhelming majority keep it right here, offshore. But what the GFS continues to show, and it has been for a while, it continues to show that general low pressure down in the Caribbean and trying to develop some stuff and bring it up over the next 15 days. Whether that happens in 15 days or not, don't know, too early to tell. But it's certainly something that is going to bear close watching as we get into October. And I really, truly think that I'm going to have to do that. All right, I'm getting a lot of people telling me that I need to ban someone. I'm looking over at the models. We got to hit a break. We'll be back to talk more about that month of October, the tropical activity, and give you an update on the Bucs as they try to take this in to take the lead in this game. That's back in 90 seconds. Okay, guys, who do I need to ban? You guys are saying I need to ban Robert Chris. Let me look and see what Robert Chris has done. Oh, yeah, Robert, no spamming. Robert, you're gone. Can't be doing that spamming stuff, Robert. We don't put up with that nonsense here. We just don't. We just don't. Take it elsewhere. And now you're going to have to. And the Bucs just scored a touchdown. So the Bucs have now taken pending the extra point, the Bucs have just taken a 14-10 lead. Must be local freezing, not freezing on Facebook in Denver. Yeah, it's got to be an internet thing because I know we're not freezing on TV at all. All right, so yeah, Bucs just took the lead, pending the extra point, which is right now, and the extra point is we're back. I mean, we don't put up with spamming. We don't put up with a lot of I take that back. We put up with some tomfoolery and shenanigans, but we do not put up with stuff like the spamming and all that kind of nonsense. And anyway, so I was involved. I was in a play on Saturday. I was kind of a guest part in a play at the Manatee County Performing Arts Center. And I was talking to a lot of the folks there within the play, and some of the folks who worked there, really nice people, really enjoyed it. And the overwhelming response was when they were watching DPL last year and this year, even during hurricane season or without, they're like, yeah, the weather stuff's okay, but I really love it when you ban people. And it's oh, yeah, that's why we watch, just to see you ban people. I'm like, how did that happen? That wasn't the point of this show. This show is started as religious programming and inspirational, if you know, you know. And somehow it turned into just kind of almost a mob mentality when someone's doing what they're not supposed to be doing, and they're like, ban them, ban them. And we just had to ban Robert Chris. So Robert Chris, you gone. Apparently we are freezing on Facebook, but it is not so someone's watching in Denver here and said we have not buffered at all. So it's got to be a local internet thing, all right? That's all I can tell you. And I'm not banning on mine either. I'm not banning. I'm not freezing on mine either. All right, so let's go back and talk a little bit more tropics, and we have one more break we got to hit. So this is a look at the GFS. So here's the bottom line, all right? As we go into the month of October, all right, I am very confident, not just confident, and this is not good news. This is not what you want to hear, but I got to call him like I see him, right? All right, so I am very confident that we are going to have development and probably multiple systems developing in this area, and they're going to go north, and probably one's going to get really close to Florida as well, if not into the Panhandle or maybe even Central Florida. I don't think there's any way around it. I really don't, for a number of reasons. But with those fronts traveling this far, all right, it is more likely that that track, whatever it would be more like this as opposed to more like this. Now, we can find a zone where in between fronts where you will have a chance to have development going up in this general area, but not only in October, but I think you're going to see it in November. I do. I just do. So, and look, this is not, look, after last year, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I mean, and look, there are some people, and I just saw someone just said this, I think you're jonesing for a hurricane. No, I'm really not. But especially after last year, the last thing any of us need after last year is tropical systems developing. But now Kelly says we're freezing in southern Maryland right now. By the way, thank you for watching in southern Maryland. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not freezing on mine, and it's certainly not freezing on TV. So it's got to, maybe it is a Facebook thing. But it is my job to sit here and give you my thoughts on what's happening. Now, I'm not a big long-range guy when it comes to the entire season, but when it comes to what I see developing, and I see it developing, I just do. The GFS is notorious for over-forecasting tropical systems, but one thing it's very good at is when it does not give up on something, eventually it usually happens. Last year like clockwork, but it took 2.5 weeks sometimes after showing something developing that it finally did. And it could have been anywhere. It could have been in the Atlantic, could have been wherever. But the point is, that is a bias with the GFS. So the way I see it right now is Gabrielle will probably form, and when it does, I think the spaghetti models are on the money. I think that it will, I'm going to copy the spaghetti models, it will inevitably curve harmlessly away from the U.S. and more than likely east of Bermuda. All right? But when we get into the end of this month, and I guess here's my point, I ain't putting up my 12-foot skeletons yet. I ain't putting up my 12-foot inferno, and I ain't putting up the witch on the, I'm not putting up my outdoor Halloween decorations. I'm just not doing it. Indoor stuff, we're all good. But I'm not going to take the time and effort to put up that ridiculously difficult 12-foot stuff and then just have to pull it right back down again. So there you go. There's my prediction. We got to hit a break. I'm so over. I'll be back in 90 seconds. Holy cow. No, we're not done. Yeah, I definitely missed my break, and I'll have about, what, 40? I'll have a minute to say goodbye. What's going on in the game? Oh, look, what happened there? Incomplete. Yeah, at this point, defense got to start playing. It is Skelly Watch 2025, Jules. You are correct. All boils down to if the Skelly is up. So it looks like there's a third down now. Third and, looks like pretty long. I can't tell it. Little bitty TV all the way on the other side there. All right, so maybe we'll get a stop here for the first time. Does Gabby affect your cruise next Friday? Alyssa, no, unless you're cruising to Bermuda. So I don't know. 30 seconds. All right. So there has been some freezing. Yeah, I mean, it might be a Facebook thing, guys, because I'm not freezing on, I'm not showing any issues at all. Oh, as I said that, yes, I am. Yes, I am I'm seeing a little bit of a little something going on. So, all right, we're in the last 5 seconds. Okay, Bahamas, gotcha. 3, 2. All right, we're back in our last segment of Dennis Phillips Live quick heat lightning round, asking about tomorrow for 4th and 8. So the Bucs D did hold. How about that? Bucs up 14-10, and the Texans are punting. Joel, my fantasy team. Well, I need the kicker for Houston to do well, but yeah, I had some great. I just happened to run into teams that had their best weeks. I had a really good week, but unfortunately, they had better weeks. Again, tomorrow night, we are going to have the CEO of Feeding Tampa Bay right here on set with us. Great guy, and we're going to talk about what's going on over at Feeding Tampa Bay, and we're also going to be talking about the tropics, because by then we might have Gabrielle, or at least a tropical depression. But the bottom line is, we are on Skelly Watch 2025, as Jules just said. When my 12-foot skeleton goes up, I will deem the hurricane season over. It ain't happening yet, not for a while probably. If you're watching on DPL, thanks for watching On the Spot, and we will see you tomorrow night on our next edition. All right, so yeah, I am getting a little blinking green thing. That's okay as long as it's not yellow or red, but that might be why a little something's going on freezing. So that could very well be it. And I did not reboot the computer, so I guess I should have done that. So if I reboot the computer, then sometimes it works better. Okay, so it's Skelly Watch 2025. Any questions? For the Bahamas, you're going to be okay. I really think this is going to curve well before that. All right? So it's freezing on YouTube too. Yeah, well, yeah, I didn't reboot the computer, and I guess I should have, because that usually solves all these things. But I'm going to go watch a football game. So again, tomorrow night, but you're fine in Clearwater. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. All right, so I'm going to go watch the game. We'll be back tomorrow with Thomas Mance, the CEO from Feeding Tampa Bay. We're going to talk more about whatever's going on, and we'll talk about the MJO, which is Lori is asking about as well. So if you just tuned in, Marie, we will here, I'll give you one last update, okay? There is a look at now a 60 and 90% likelihood of development. Spaghetti models are right here, showing a significant curvature. I don't really have any apps on the computer, David. It's just, this program takes a ton of firepower. Ton. Here's the Euro. Actually, it's a Euro AI. The Euro AI shows the curve, right? Zoop. Does show a little bit of development down here, but not a lot. No worries. And the Euro deterministic view, the majority also curve, although 1 or 2 shows a weaker system early on going more west and then curving. So for the Bahamas cruise, that would only be your worst experience. If it were to stay very, very weak and go more west and then start to develop, then it could have an impact. But clearly, the overwhelming majority of models do not show that. Okay? And then lastly, the GFS has tracks closer to the U.S., but still curving as a weaker system. The stronger systems in the red, see all the red colors there? Those are stronger hurricanes. They all curve. The weaker ones, and then they get strong right about here, and then they'll curve, but that's closer. And then you got 1 or 2 from the Caribbean that try to go north along that front. You get a stalled out front here. Zoop, zoop, zoop. So that is always a little bit of a concern. All right, so there you go. All right, I'm going to reboot this computer right now, so I'll know that it will be rebooted tomorrow. Yeah, the GFS chicane is not usually right. You are correct. Is it high chase? Yeah, it's H. I don't know, one of them. But what it is better at, first of all, no model is really good after 10 days, GFS or anybody else. But the one thing the GFS is kind of proficient at is when it shows something and every day it continues to show and not back off. Like a lot of times it'll show some nonsense and people will post it and then the next day it's gone. Ridiculous. But there are times, and this is one of them, when the GFS will continue to show development and eventually it comes to pass. Matter of fact, I will show you the operational because I have not shown that yet. And the operational does just that. So here's the GFS. And if you look way down, you got that. By the way, there's your Pacific hurricane, the one that it was kind of showing. But then it does start to show some development down the road. Again, it doesn't matter that this is showing it. It's not going to be accurate per se. But the fact that it does not back down from this tells us that that certainly is something I'm going to look at. And I'm going to go one step further. Look at the Euro. Did have the Euro on here. Is it gone? So here's the Euro. And look at the Euro. Similar way out there, but in the Bay of Campeche. But the point is, when we are approaching the end of September and into October, it is very likely that we're going to have some development in the Gulf and in the Western Caribbean. It just is. So, all right, guys. So that is it. Yeah, it looks like, what, a little bit of hands to the face? Is that what it was? It looks like I saw that. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go watch the game. Have a good night. We will see you tomorrow night on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. See you guys.